Hello, everyone. Welcome to Smooth Move, a presentation to help aid you in the transition off campus. We will be talking with Student Legal Services, the Student Wellness Center, and Off-Campus and Commuter Student Services today.
Hi, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you about the timeline. In years past, the off-campus housing timeline followed a familiar pattern. Although we preferred students to wait, many would sign leases in the autumn semester for their off-campus housing for the next academic year. As you know, this is not your typical year. The familiar patterns do not exist as they once did. At this time, we strongly encourage students not to sign a lease for the 2021-2022 academic year. When you sign a lease, you are legally obligating yourself to pay the rent for the entire lease term, which is about 12 months. It can be very difficult to terminate your lease if circumstances change and you decide not to move into your off-campus housing. And while subleasing to someone else may be an option, if everyone is trying to sublease their housing, the market will be saturated. We hope that you will consider waiting until spring 2021 at least to sign a lease for the next academic year. And whenever you're ready, we want you to be prepared. So I'll turn it over to Ben from Scarlet and Gray Financial Coaching to talk about budgeting for your off-campus move.
It's important to start your housing search by understanding your financial position and how that will affect your off-campus housing options. First, start by considering your income. How will you finance your future living situation? Many students rely on support from friends and family, and it's a great idea to plan ahead to have a good understanding of what that support will look like when you transition away from the residence halls. Students can use financial aid to pay for indirect educational expenses like rent and groceries. If you plan to rely on student loans, it's even more important to be frugal when possible to limit the amount you have to pay back in the long run. Working is clearly an option as well. On the expense side of things, the easiest place to start is fixed expenses, those that do not change month to month. Obviously, this will be rent, so be sure that you are renting a place that is realistic for your income level. There are plenty of affordable places in the campus area. Variable expenses are those that encompass most of your day-to-day spending, like groceries, dining, and those that occur monthly but may not be necessarily consistent. In the short run, you have a great deal of control over these expenses, and students can easily cut back on grocery spending, for instance, by changing what they buy or where they purchase groceries. Finally, regular expenses are those large one-time expenses or annual expenses that can be challenging to deal with. Plan ahead for the costs associated with moving into your new off-campus housing, including furnishings and security deposits. Have a few months of expenses in cash savings is a good idea to avoid being in a financial pinch. Finally, I'll leave you with some tips to succeed in your off-campus housing financial process. Variable expenses and your lifestyle are the largest factors you can control. Focus there to spend less money in the short run. Be sure to check in with yourself to see where your money goes. There are many apps, either through your bank or a third-party service like Mint, that will do this automatically for you. Renter's insurance is a must. This insures all of your personal belongings, including laptops, bikes, and furniture from theft, fire, flood, or other issues. It is very inexpensive, especially when bundled with other policies. Once you've determined your budget, you can begin the process of searching for housing. Let's hear from Student Life's Off-Campus and Commuter Student Services.
Thanks, Ben. Off-Campus and Commuter Student Services is your central resource for off-campus living. Our website, offcampus.osu.edu, contains all of our information. We first keep in contact with local area property owners, and if they choose to, they advertise their available properties on offcampus.osu.edu. Now, please keep in mind, these are not university endorsed or approved property owners or properties. We simply serve as a resource center, letting you know what's out there and what's available, while providing you with the tips and tools to making the best decision for you and your circumstance. When utilizing that online housing search, you can be as general or as specific as you would like to be. For instance, if you're looking for a 2-bedroom apartment, walking distance to campus, with air conditioning, you can specify all of that information. Once you hit submit, the search will narrow down based off your criteria. You will be able to view details of the property, and if interested, you can contact the property owner directly to get further information. Next, if you're looking to live off campus with roommates and need help finding individuals, you can utilize our online roommate search. Once logged in with your Ohio State username and password, you will be able to post a roommate ad and conduct a roommate search. To supplement this online roommate search, we also host roommate fairs each semester. We will keep offcampus.osu.edu updated with information on upcoming dates for our virtual roommate fairs. Once you determine where you would like to live and who you may want to live with, it's important to connect with Student Legal Services. Let's learn about some of the services that they have available to you.
I'm so glad you've had a chance to hear from my colleagues about doing your research and educating yourself about the off-campus housing process. Along those lines, the next important step is to get a lease review from Student Legal Services. When you've found the perfect place, before you sign, schedule an appointment with SLS. We will go through your lease, explain your legal rights and responsibilities, answer all your questions, and point out unenforceable lease terms, and ensure that you have the information you need for a successful off-campus experience. One particular term that may be in your lease that you should understand is joint and several liability. Many off-campus leases have this provision in it. In non-lawyer speak, joint and several liability means that if you are living with roommates, you're responsible for not only your portion of the rent, but the entire rental amount for the lease term, plus any damages caused. It's important to know this, so you'll take your time, choose your roommates wisely, and go through that roommate agreement. There are so many resources available to you as you begin your off-campus housing journey. The more effort you put into educating yourself, taking your time to understand your rights and responsibilities, and really finding the best place for you, the happier you'll be in the long run. Stay in touch and reach out to one of our offices if you have questions. Thank you. Go Bucks.